efforts to explore the moon, Mars, and beyond. Jesse?
Thanks, Jasmine. As many of you may already know, SpaceX's ultimate mission is to make life multiplanetary. To get us there, we've been developing a fully and rapidly reusable transportation system called Starship, the most powerful launch system ever developed and designed to carry passengers and cargo to Earth orbit, the moon, and planetary destinations like Mars. Starship's first fully integrated flight test back in April provided numerous lessons learned that directly contributed to several upgrades to both the vehicle and ground infrastructure to improve the probability of success on future flights. Our second flight test could launch as soon as mid-November, pending regulatory approval, which is just around the corner. This next test will debut a hot stage separation system and a new electronic thrust vector control, or TVC system, for Super Heavy Raptor engines, in addition to reinforcements to the pad foundation and a water-cooled steel flame deflector, among many other enhancements. Building bases or even cities on Mars will require huge amounts of cargo and eventually crew. So we're designing Starship from the beginning to carry hundreds of tons of cargo into space and be able to refuel in orbit. Before Mars, Starship will play a key role in the exploration of the moon. We're providing the lunar lander, which will return astronauts to the lunar surface for the first time in more than 50 years under NASA's Artemis missions. With the ability to deliver cargo and people to the lunar surface, we'll be ready to help humanity build a sustainable presence on the moon and learn how to live off-world before the next steps to Mars. Today, however, we are going a little closer to home with our Dragon spacecraft, where all of our learning on human space transportation began. And all the work and advancement we continue to make with Dragon in low Earth orbit will continue to pave the way for our future deep space missions with Starship. And now I'll turn it back to Jasmine at KSC to take a look at one of the payloads flying on today's mission. Jasmine?
Thanks so much, Jesse. Yes, on today's mission, we are launching seeds from the Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma. And here to tell us more about the Growing Hope Initiative is Jacqueline Putman. Thank you so much for being here, Jackie.
Halito and Tachikama, Jasmine. It's very nice to be here. My name is Jacqueline Harjo Putman. I am the coordinator for Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma. This is National Heritage Month, so this is Native American Month, so this is a very important month for us. We're setting up our traditional seeds in this. We're very, very excited about this. These are seeds that came down the Trail of Tears. These are seeds that were sown in the hems of our ancestors' garments, so they knew when they left Mississippi that they would have to have food to start over. So they had the forethought, and they would have never dreamed where we're going today.
Right, Jacqueline, there's a lot of emotional significance to these seeds.
Absolutely.
So can you tell us about, you guys are going to plant them at Jones Elementary. How are these going to inspire the next generation?
This is exciting. When they come back, what we're going to do is take them to Jones Academy. It's a Native American school that we have. And they're going to plant them. We're going to do the STEM program. We're going to do a side-by-side testing for what has been on Earth, what's gone out of space, do a comparison. We're getting these kids excited about science. We want to get new astronauts. We want them to know they have a future. That this is something that they can do. This is not out of range.
Right.
That this is something that they can have as well.
Exactly. Jacqueline, we actually showed some pictures on the screen of the different things that are going to be planted. What seeds, what kind of seeds are you sending?
We're sending our traditional Tanchi flower corn. It can grow up to 20 feet tall. We've grown it to 18.5 feet. This is what we grind up and make our banaha bread. Mm-hmm. We're sending our Choctaw sweet potato squash. It can last on the shelf up to a year. It's high in manganese, magnesium, zinc, vitamin A, and iron. And this is hoping the astronauts will hopefully take and grow themselves because they last, they're good for you. So, and then we have our Tanchi, we have our Smith peas, we have Chukvi peas. These are just really prolific peas that do really well, indoors, outdoors, and they're high in iron, and they're really prolific. So we're really hoping that they'll put these to use because
that is awesome. Jackie, how are you going to incorporate this into the STEM curriculum?
Well, actually, what we're doing is we're building a new garden. We've been talking about building a brand new garden over at Jones Academy for this program so we could have extra produce for the kids to study and get them interested in this program so that can lead to college educations, to NASA.
Right.
I mean,
Exactly.
Who could ever believe that we would be here at NASA today?
Right.
And we're kicking off Native American Month, so we're very excited and very honored.
That is fabulous. Very poignant, very good timing for this. Thank you so much, Jackie Putman. So this science and all the science launching today is made possible by the International Space Station, which celebrates 25 years of operation this month. Here's a look at some of the highlights from the past few decades on the orbiting laboratory.
The ISS is the most incredible wonder of the modern world.
Christina Cook, the first one through the hatch.
We're pushing boundaries. We're doing things that nobody else was doing.
To learn more about the space station turning 25, keep an eye on NASA's social media channels for a video series debuting this Monday, November 13th. The space station truly is a wonder. It is the third brightest object in the sky, and measuring about the size of a professional football field, it can be seen with just the naked eye. As it orbits the Earth at over 17,000 miles per hour, NASA is making it easier than ever for you to spot the station. Scan the QR code on your screen now to download the all-new Spot the Station app on your mobile device, available on both iOS and Android. The app alerts you when the station is passing over your hometown and even lets you track its location in real time. Right now, there are 7 people living and working on the space station, making up the Expedition 70 crew. This expedition began on September 27th, and the team represents several international agencies: NASA, ESA, JAXA, and Roscosmos. During their long-duration stay in low Earth orbit, they will research heart health, cancer treatments, space manufacturing techniques, and more to benefit life on and off the planet. CRS-29 is expected to dock to the space station this Saturday. That's November 11th at 5:20 a.m. And NASA astronauts Jasmine Montbelly and Laurel O'Hara will be monitoring the operation to ensure all this cargo is delivered safely. All right, we're marching towards launch at T-minus 7 minutes and counting for liftoff of CRS-29. So let's bring back Steve here on Florida's Space Coast and Jesse live at SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California, to walk us through the final moments of countdown and liftoff. Take it away.
Thank you, Jasmine. It is just under 7.5 minutes until launch, and the SpaceX team is working no significant issues, and the vehicle is healthy. Weather is 100% go for T0, and the range is ready to support today's mission. At this point, Rocket Propellant 1, or RP1, fuel is completely loaded on the second stage and nearly complete on the first stage. Liquid oxygen, or LOX, loading is currently underway on both stages and will complete at the T-minus 2 minute mark. We just heard a call out for engine chill. We're also loading helium gas into both stages. Falcon 9 uses helium as a pressurant to backfill the propellant tanks, as liquid oxygen and RP1 are consumed by the Merlin engines during ascent. Helium load began before the broadcast went live and will continue to top off until about 1.5 minutes before launch.
And SpaceX performed that engine chill just a few seconds ago, around T-minus 7 minutes. That's when the team flowed a small amount of liquid oxygen at minus 297 degrees into the Merlin engine's turbo pumps. And you may have heard the call there. Stage 1 fuel load is complete. They're basically doing that engine chill. They're basically prepping the propulsion system for the full flow of liquid oxygen. And by doing this, they avoid a thermal shock to the system, and that ensures that engine startup goes well. Dragon also began its startup sequence at T-minus 35 minutes when it coordinated timing with the Falcon 9 rocket. The spacecraft is currently undergoing vehicle health checks. It'll enter terminal count at about T-minus 5 minutes, with the next big step just a minute before liftoff, when Dragon will transition to internal power.
And you can see on your screen there are clamp arms beneath the Dragon vehicle. Once those begin to open up, that'll be coming up here shortly in just about under a minute now. Those clamp arms will open up, and that'll allow the transporter erector, which is that large trusted structure that you see on your screen next to the vehicle, that will begin to retract away from the vehicle. The transporter erector, the TE, is used for vehicle rollout and to route
is on internal power.
propellants and electrical power to the vehicle in preparation for launch. Now, once the clamp arms are fully opened, that'll allow some room for that TE to be able to move back from the vehicle. In these last few minutes before T0, Falcon 9 is performing final health checks on its primary communications, avionics, and propulsion systems in preparation for flight. We may hear callouts that engines are sufficiently chilled as we get a little closer to liftoff, and then we did hear that call out that they are preparing for strong back retract. That is the TE that I just mentioned. And maybe a little hard to see, but the clamp arms should be opening very slowly there. Again, they are the arms just below the Dragon that you see there on your screen. And there you can see those clamp arms opening up. And again, as a reminder, the booster on your screen is flying for its second time and will be landing back on land at landing zone 1, which is not too far from the launch site. And there you can see that the clamp arms look like they're fully open now. That transporter erector can now begin to move away from the vehicle. It will also be pretty slow and slight, but just enough to allow some room for the vehicle for liftoff.
And at T-minus 3 minutes, 22 seconds and counting, we are waiting for a call for Stage 1 liquid oxygen loading complete. This launch will take about 6,000 pounds of hardware, crew supplies, and science to the space station.
Stage 1 LOX load complete.
And there we have the call we were waiting for. Stage 1 LOX load complete. That is the liquid oxygen. One of the larger pieces of equipment that CRS-29 is carrying tonight is a technology demonstrator. It's called ILLUMA-T, and it'll transmit data to Earth on lasers. Those lasers can hold a lot more data than previous communications equipment, and this trial will show how that rush of data can help researchers learn a lot more about their work on the station. Dragon will be docked to the space station for about a month before returning home. At T-minus 2 minutes, 25 seconds and counting, we are awaiting the checkouts of the second stage thrust vector control actuators. And this is often referred to as an engine wiggle test. This is when SpaceX moves the thrust nozzle on the second stage slightly to make sure the guidance software and hardware is ready for flight. SpaceX does the exact same test on the first stage engines just seconds before ignition.
Stage 2 LOX load complete.
And great call out there. Stage 2 LOX load is complete, which means that propellant loading is now complete on both stages of the Falcon 9. Dragon is also performing its final health checks to make sure that all the vehicle's primary systems are ready for its rendezvous with the International Space Station. You may have noticed that there's some white clouds around the vehicle there on your screen. Those clouds are normal. That is the chilled gas above the tank liquid surface for the liquid oxygen that we vent out overboard to maintain pressure in the tank as needed. And once that cold gas comes into contact with that warmer air, it creates those white clouds that you see there.
And we are at T-minus 1 minute, 5 seconds and counting. Soon the Falcon 9 computers will enter startup mode.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
And there we have the call from the launch director. Falcon 9 computers have entered startup mode, and the Dragon spacecraft is on internal power. Both stages are now pressurizing for launch. And
LD, go for launch.
And there we have the on-time call of the space.